Chuggalos, welcome back to day 18 of the Brew Crew Podcast Advent Calendar 2023. Trying some new things up here. I ditched the headset in hopes that I'm able to utilize a microphone. So just let me know if the audio levels are a little bit different. I did dry run a couple of times to make sure that the audio still came a little bit crisper. When I'm using my headset, I can't help when I listen back that I feel a little bit muffled. So I wanted to try it a little bit differently, especially after being inspired by both Chuggalos JT and Chuggalos Phil, because we got into a little audiophile type conversation. And Chuggalos Phil is really up on all of the technology. We were bouncing stuff back and forth, and I should have taken notes because I was learning so much. But anyways, please check out the Mothership episode 259. It just dropped overnight. It's a meaty episode. There's a couple hours of material, shenanigans, and chicanery both involved in that episode. But today, on day 18, boy, we got a hot bomb today. And this one's going to be a little bit special, so I'm hoping that the guys and gals participating know that this is a different beer than what would normally come up on Untapped. This is going to be Hoof-Hearted, or Hoof-Hearted. We'll get into that in a little bit. Brewery, south of 11, 666. And the reason why it's 666 is because this triple India Pale Ale is hopped with 6.6 pounds of dry hops per barrel. So that's an incredible amount. Those are Citra, El Dorado, Nelson, Sauvignon, and Simcoe. So again, your standard bangers when it comes to hops. And again, 10.2 on this. So it's a triple IPA. 10.2. Man, and it recommends... We got into temperatures a lot yesterday. Recommend serving this at 46. I'm going to drink it a little bit cooler than that. I'm going to go with the crack. Was not primed. And again, they Hoof-Hearted, or Hoof-Hearted, it's a play on words. They have a south of 11 standard. This one just happens to be a little amped up compared to their other series. So this is a 666, and this is an annual release. Man, that's got a lot of chew to it. Wow, that's got a lot going on. And Hoof-Hearted, as we made Chuggalo Stev and Chuggalo Deuce, I like that name. We made them drink a Hoof-Hearted that Stev gave to us on the podcast. I said episode 237. I can actually bring that up right now, which one it was, because that was not a good beer. It was actually episode 238, so I was only off by one. But that was a beer that both JT and I, we didn't rank on purpose. And that's why, like yesterday on the Mothership, I was like, I didn't check it in. I think JT and I on episode 238 purposely agreed or made the intentional decision to not grade that one because we didn't anticipate it being what it was. And you can see their reaction yesterday on 259 that they didn't think it what it was either, because I recapped it, stored it in the fridge, and there was still some carbonation build to it, which was quite interesting. But Hoof-Hearted, being out of Ohio, is a brewery that has come onto the scene as of late. In the last couple of years or whatever. Stev, when he goes there, he buys it by the pallet, or a flat of it, you will. Man, this is a big one for a Monday morning. A 10.2. Man, it's got some chew to it. It's got some depth of flavor. It hasn't been like a lot of the IPAs we've had thus far, where they've been like one note. That hot build with the Citra you get, the Simcoe, the Nelson Sauvignon, that man, again, just a banger of a build, and the design to this one. All right, so while I need to ruminate on this one, so let's go check out the website. I'll bring the website up real quick. Throw off the webcam. So again, Hoof. So now that you can see it, and we'll go to the next page. So it's hoofheartedbrewing.com. So if you say it fast enough, and Steph had to explain this to us years ago, but it's supposed to be Hoof-Hearted. I mean, like if you say it fast enough, and I like that cleverness, that play on words. The website, though, leaves a lot to be desired. There's not, it looks a little bit old, and we'll get into that a little bit. As you see, I've got their YouTube page up right now. There's only words on it. We've been turning tanks like cassette tapes since late 2011. Known throughout the industry for our deft hop wrangling and our nude air guitar prowess. That's awesome. We do everything we can to provide you fresh, high quality, and sometimes high test liquid to help you get the party popping. So I love how they have their beers listed like this with their can art. There's a lot. JT goes really into depth on some of these can arts that we've had before. I can't help but think that their $120 nachos and $60 nachos is a play on like Dogfish had 60 and 20 minute or 120 minute and 60 minute if they had a 90 minute in here. But anyways, all this art is fantastic. Yeah, Girth Brooks, like just the play, the whimsical. Look, double IPA with South African hops. You have Masters of the Universe and a little R2D2 play. Again, there's a lot of artwork, but there's not a lot of information. Like you can't find out too much. Sorry, Stacy. Here we get into the South of 11, and this is where I want to, if you're turned on by this beer, because I bet you are. There's two different. They have the South of 11, which is a double, and then the triple is the South of 11 666. So anyways, I preloaded, and I wanted to look and find out more about them. Unfortunately, there's not much, but they do have a YouTube page. So I went to the YouTube page and throw those off. Nothing. So they've got 128 subs, so they're beating us on subs, but their most recent video was like 5 or 6 years ago. But, they've got a lot of views or whatever, but there's not a lot here. So I think eventually they wanted to do something with this, maybe a little bit of a community outreach or whatever, but, they've just dropped the ball a little bit on that, or it just fell by the wayside, which happens. I mean, think of everything on the BCP that happens like that. And then we go to their Untapped, and I wanted to bring this up again because to show the difference between the two beers, so South 11 666 and triple dry hopped IPA with Mosaic. So I listed off straight from the can. It's actually got more hops than that in it, but we've got some sweet pictures, and no friends have had it yet. At least I don't think. But globally, it's out there, and you can like see the color, that other people are drinking, that darker yellow, deeper yellow. Awesome. Okay. So let's bring back up the ugly mug. Man, I'm only like a third of the way into it. As you can see by my reaction, like that hop build really gives it a lot of depth that we've been missing from a lot of the beers thus far. There's a lot of build to this, a lot of brewmaster integrity in how they balanced it out. I don't know if it's the most balanced IPA it is, but it's aggressively hopped in a pleasing manner. It's not just empty liquid or just a mass produced. This is produced intentionally, obviously. I mean, all these beers are intentionally produced, but you know what I mean. They had thoughts that were going into this. I understand the play or whatever to do the 6.66 pounds per barrel dry hopped into this one. This is not crushable in that if you have a couple of these, you're really setting the table for some interesting decision making or decision processes for the rest of the day. Off the top rope, this is an absolute banger of a beer. This would be one that you would want to share with friends, with it being that Trippa, with it being the 10-2. I don't think the alcohol comes through, but I can kind of feel it, if that makes sense. It's not aggressively alcohol tasting or whatever. I don't feel overburdened by the alcohol that I'm getting off of it, but I know it's there. Even without like the can wrap or going to the website or doing the research or whatever, like you would just know, even though it's it doesn't have the hallmarks of the taste or reanalyzing your palate. I like it. This would be a fun beer to like give somebody and just be like, oh, buckle in because you're, like when friends or whatever come over and we go down to the church room and they're like, oh, okay, whatever, pick. This would be the first beer that I would grab out of the fridge because, again, as we said yesterday and we've said for 6 years doing this podcast, it's all about the conversation. This beer is a conversation, and everyone's going to take a drink if they don't look at the can because the can immediately is like just that black, subdued. There's not that much to it, but they're going to take a drink, and I guarantee if it's in a koozie or whatever, they're going to pull out and be like, what am I drinking? It's going to drive that interpersonal conversation, and then it's going to be like, why did you give this to me? And I'll be like, you know why I gave it to you, because I want you to be influenced by all that 10.2%. Enough of that. Off the top rope, it's good. It's a one-off, though, for sure. You could have one a day or whatever, like if you're hanging out with the boys or the gals, or just an extended period of, bro or broette time. Off the top rope, again, 4.5. I dig this. This is a very situational beer. This is going to drive conversation. You couldn't have multiple of these in a sitting. You would have to like change it up, go to something a little bit more approachable or sustainable. This, again, I'm at a loss for words, and hopefully that's conveyed through. It's good. It's just aggressive, and I appreciate how aggressive it is. But that's it for day 18. We only got a few of these days left. Trying to look ahead. There's a couple that I'm really looking forward. I'm looking at you, 21 December. That's going to be a special one. That's going to be near and dear to my heart because of the thought and the process that went into that. But that's it for day 18. Cheers.